While the brightest comet to appear in the Northern Hemisphere skies in nearly a quarter of a century will soon be ending its run as a naked eye object. Comet Neowise, or C2020F3, was discovered on the 27th of March by astronomers during the Neowise mission, which used NASA's Wide Field Infrared Survey Explorer Space Telescope to look for near-Earth objects like asteroids and even comets. The comet made its closest approach to the Sun, called perihelion, on the 3rd of July, where at the time it swept to within 44.1 million kilometers of the Sun, or just inside the orbit of Mercury. It's the innermost planet. Astrophysicist and professor at the Physics and Astronomy Department at UWC, Professor Lerothodi Leeuw, joins us to tell us a little bit more about this astronomic phenomenon. Professor, very good morning to you. Thank you for joining us. I mean, looking at this comet perhaps being one of the brightest to be viewed from Earth since 1996, can you walk us through the importance of this phenomenon and also the significance thereof?
Yes, indeed. This comet has been amazing. It approached Earth from an orbit that's slightly different from our own orbit around the solar system. So I guess I should first just say it's been very spectacular in the sky. We were able to see it in the Southern Hemisphere a little bit in the mornings, late June and early July, and then it went, Northern Hemisphere, much more visible there. And it's starting to become a little bit visible now in the southern latitudes as well. And I'll say why. Essentially, we in the solar system orbit east-west. If you think, we see the sun rising in the east and setting in the west. So that's our orbit east-west. This comet came into the solar system in a north-south orbit, so that when it was approaching Earth and the sun, it came from the south, and we could see it in the south then, and then it went north and spent a lot of time there, and that's how come it was mostly visible in the Northern Hemisphere. And now it's starting to come down south as it leaves the solar system. And so now we should also be able to see it here, even in the Southern Hemisphere. So a spectacular object indeed.
As I mentioned in the introduction, it's nearing its end to be seen with the naked eye. So if you are in South Africa, if you are in the Southern Hemisphere, in terms of the best vantage point and also time, I mean, when is the best time to view it, and exactly when will it be the most visible?
So the best time is right after sunset. And the comet, it turns out it's up, so above the horizon right now, but the sun is outshining it. So what you want to do is wait until, it gets dark, and you also want to be looking towards where the sun is setting. So northwest, wait until it gets dark, and it's a little bit faint right now, so be in a dark area and don't get your eye be blinded by any light. Then you should see it until about 7:30 tonight, and then as the days goes, it's coming further south, so it should even be available later.
All right, Professor, but just in terms of the last great comet, I mean, when was the last time this phenomenon occurred? Just in conclusion, as we wrap up this conversation.
So there are normally quite a few different comets that come towards the center of the solar system. Not all of them are bright. So we are excited now because this one, got very close and it's become bright. We call the bright ones the great comets. And, the last one that was, as bright was 1996. And I should also just mention this thing about what comets really are and why we get so excited about them. They mostly contain water and cosmic dust. And the water part is exciting because we believe that when Earth formed, comets are what brought water to Earth, because they are from the outer solar system. And when Earth was forming, where Earth was in the center of the solar system, it was too hot for water to condense. So water wouldn't have formed then. And we believe that, water condensed in the outer parts of the solar system, and the comets then brought them in. So not just one comet, a bunch of them landed on Earth and brought them. So when you enjoy this this spectre, remember too that it's actually a reminder of how we got how we got water on Earth.
All right, Professor, we're going to leave that conversation there. Again, Professor Lerothodi Leeuw, thank you very much for explaining the phenomenon that is Comet Neowise. As he mentioned, it's the brightest comet to appear in the Northern Hemisphere skies in nearly a quarter of a century, and it will be ending its run with the naked eye, to be seen with the naked eye very soon. Obviously, the best time, as he mentioned, to view the Comet Neowise will be just after sunset.